What can I say when almost every Sunday when I get up here, the message has already been given by these wonderful musicians? Isn't that fabulous? Thank you each. Wow. As I mentioned earlier, our prayers are with a lot of people. It's been quite a week, hasn't it? A hurricane named Laura came through. No relation, except in the way we're all connected. And our prayers are with the people who were in the path of those strong winds as they rebuild their lives. We had a Republican convention, Democratic convention last week. People are getting ready to make their choices. We had a celebration and a demonstration on the March on Washington to honor the 1963 march that included the great speech of Martin Luther King Jr. We had a march here in Richmond, I understand, as well. And some sadness in the life of our Unity family. Elaine Krauss made her transition this past week, for those of you who knew her. Her daughter has provided many beautiful necklaces and jewelry for us as a gift. And Chadwick Boseman, the great celebrity who has been an icon for a whole new generation of young people, an icon of what's possible and who we can be. He's played great icons himself. He played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, and James Brown, woo, yes, and then the superhero Black Panther, Wakanda forever. Now, what a great actual message this is. You know, in some signing, this is the message for I love you. This salute. And when I went to it, I said, well, you know, I know it's a Marvel comic book character, and place. But what does Wakanda mean? So I was looking up, trying to find a meaning. The closest I came was an Osage word, Wakonta. Wakonta. And it means God. Wow, God. And here is a kingdom of Wakanda that was hit by a meteor millions of years ago that left this incredible, miraculous element called vibranium, out of which they built their whole kingdom, and they have marvelous ways of healing people and strengthening people and empowering people. And in the movie of Black Panther, as I remember, they were having the breakthrough of just keeping safely to themselves, to being something in the world, to actually carrying the gifts that they had to give to the world. And King T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, was someone who was in his hero's journey. And by the way, he was in a hero's journey because even then he was dealing with colon cancer and surgery and chemotherapy. And in his hero's journey, he brought this wonderful gift to the whole world. I love you. God is love. Love is forever. Wakanda forever. Great, great gift. Great gift. Now, that calls us forth, even mythical, wonderful stories like that. In fact, mythical, wonderful stories like that have a powerful way of calling us forth. I did a seminar that was women only. I did it online a few weeks ago. I did it with a group of about 7 women, and we decided that Wonder Woman was our hero. That demonstration of strength and power that comes from within who we are already born to be. You don't have to be born a goddess. You don't have to be born a king, because what these characters reflect is the goddess, the king, the Christ, the I am, the great being that we all are and all have inside. And like the kingdom of Wakanda, we are learning, and whatever island that was that Wonder Woman came from, I don't remember. Because she did the same thing. I think superheroes have similar stories. But she got out there to help the world. So we have our island, our country, our miracle working power. And if you're alive, you have within you miracle working power. We have it here. And we are being called forth with all that is happening in our world to bring it forth into the world. To not just share it from what we have, but to get together with others and collaboratively share what we have. This is why we have spiritual communities, not only to support us, and this is very important, to support us and uplift us in our individual lives and spiritual growth, but to come together as a community and to recognize that our community is the whole world. And so, great teachers like Tracy Brown wrote the book Stained Glass Spirit and shared some great things with us that help us find our way to move from this rock or island, as Simon and Garfunkel used to sing, I am a rock, I am an island. To move from this to being out there in the whole world. You don't have to wear yourself out with it either. You just give yourself every day to what there is to give to this world, and you work with others in the giving. You learn to work with others, whether it is in person or online. This is what it is to live the love, to be living love. Not, well, it actually that has a double meaning. You can be living your love, you can be living love, and you can be love that is living in the world. Jesus spoke of love. He said, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. The way that Claudia and Lucy and Julie shared it just a little bit ago is called Make Someone Happy. That you love one another also as I have loved you. And Paul said, owe no one anything except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. This is the message we are seeking to live in the world. Not just bring to the world, but live in the world. This is the law's fulfillment. Love is the law's fulfillment. There's nothing else to know. I don't know what I'm going to do with 40 years of biblical scholarship But it all boils down to that. Love is the fulfillment of all of it. All of it. So how do we live the love? Not just for the healing of ourselves, but for the upliftment of all of humankind. Well, we move beyond what we've known ourselves to be. Now, some of you have been doing a good job at living love. Really good job. Some of you are here in the morning to help out, and many of you share through your music, through your messages, through your teaching. Been doing an awesome, awesome job. And yet it seems that life seems to call for more and more and more. Sometimes when we get through a week, like this past week, I pray for something. I pray for a slow news week.
Yes. Amen.
Just one. And yet it keeps coming, and it keeps coming, and it keeps coming. And I believe it keeps coming until we answer the call. Until we know what we are here to do and who we are here to be, which is living love. On the Stained Glass Spirit, Tracy Brown points out some things that really demonstrate living the love. For example, she says we can move from the golden rule, expand beyond the golden rule, to the platinum rule. How can you expand beyond the golden rule? The golden rule that is a golden thread that weaves together all religions. All religions have some form of the golden rule. Which is what? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, to live the love is to be aware of diversity. There it is again. There's that word again. 3 words I'm going to say, at least through next week with this talk series, are diversity, oneness, and inclusion. To be aware of the golden rule or to be aware of diversity is to live not just the golden rule, but the platinum rule. And what is the platinum rule? If the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the platinum rule is do unto others as they would have you do unto them. In other words, in our diversity, what we think is really great for us may not be quite as great for somebody else. So we might do something and wonder why this person over here isn't more grateful. Maybe the first thing we need to ask is, what can I do for you? What would you like? What do you want? And this takes us to a depth of inquiry. What do I want? Wow, nobody's ever asked me that before. What do I want? It really helps us in a self-discovery that empowers us along the way. Or you can just listen to others. I know one of the things I like to do before Christmas is I like to listen for what people want. You know, I know that often when you're asked, what do you want for Christmas? Your mind goes blank. But if you listen to someone, if you engage with them, you will hear things that they want. You will hear what they're looking for, what they're seeking. And you can give it to them in a Christmas present or in some form just by listening and getting who else is in your world who may or may not think the same way you do. Now, we of like mind, we like to come together. New Thought, we say, I like to come together with people of like mind. That is because we have some spiritual principles that we adhere to and we share. But we of like mind are not necessarily of the same mind. We have our own thinking, don't we? And that's why we can listen for each other. The second thing, move from the golden rule to the platinum rule, move from contribution, wonderful thing, contribution. Thank you for all your contributions. Move from contribution to collaboration. In addition to giving, how about gathering together? And we have online and safe ways to do it. Gathering together to see how you can collaborate, to contribute to each other and to the community as a whole. My friend Harriet in Flint, Michigan, a remarkable woman who asked myself and some of the other clergy in Flint if we would be willing to gather at a weekly prayer breakfast. So we came to that prayer breakfast, and Harriet had gone out the night before and talked with people who were living on the streets and invited them to the prayer breakfast. And we gathered in that prayer breakfast, listened to each other's stories. Those of us who could pay for our breakfast and maybe a little bit more pitched in to the treasure to pay for the whole thing. So the whole thing was covered. So everybody got whatever breakfast they wanted and got their stories heard and their prayers gathered with each other. And we all inspired and collaborated with each other to uplift our entire community, to brainstorm on ideas for youth programs and things that I was working with Harriet on when I was there in those years. Collaboration is so powerful, and it takes us out beyond ourselves, beyond just I'm going to give this, to I'm going to work with this to create a better world. And finally, we move from the me form of spirituality to the we form of spirituality. And I don't mean W-E-E. No, the we form of spirituality. We take the blessings of our lives into the world, and part of those blessings is what we have to give, but another part is what we have to receive. Because it is an exchange, it is a collaboration when we give ourselves into the world. It is a blessing to each of us. How many of you have given yourselves in big ways and felt you were the most blessed? That's what the we form of spirituality does. Back at Unity Renaissance in Chesapeake, when I was there, we started to build it actually became a whole department. It started as a small team, and it grew into a whole department with several teams. It was called Unity in the World. And what it was a group of people thinking about how can we be a ministry beyond our own spiritual community that ministers to the whole community. Now, I got here and was amazed and in awe and wonder at how many ways this ministry has already been doing that. At Unity Renaissance, we built several teams up over the years. We had the green team, honoring our environment, choosing how that church, and that church has become very green over the years, I understand. We had the community outreach team, which this ministry is very strong in. We had the global outreach team. And we had the marketing team. Now, the marketing team wasn't just about getting people into church. The marketing team was about getting what we stand for in the world out into the world. And the best kind of marketing that there is when people are able to transform in themselves. And the way we transform in ourselves is to make that conscious connection, not only with the Spirit within us, but with others. There is no real transformation. Oh, we feel good. We get a high. But there's no real transformation unless it shows up in the world. It is transformation, not transpiration, which is nice, really good, really great. But transformation means that there is an upliftment and an expansion of something in form. And the way we transform is to work collaboratively. And so we have diversity, oneness, inclusion. When we are aware of diversity, we can engage in conversations that live by the platinum rule. What would you like? What do you want? What can I do for you? And then the next question, addressing oneness. When we believe in the oneness that we have, we can collaborate on what we can do together. So what can I do for you becomes what can I do with you? That's the oneness. And then when we develop habits of inclusion, not just I'm going to go to an inclusive event. That's wonderful, that's nice. But when we are inclusive year-round, then we are truly living. When we are inclusive every day of our lives, and that does take practice, that means including those who live with you and what you decide to do. It doesn't mean you can't be independent. Independence is an inner strength that does not rely on being validated in an outer way. It takes an independent person to be collaborative, to be strong enough in themselves, to bring their gift to the table, to listen to the other's gift that is brought to the table, and to work together to build something greater than either of you could have done alone. Whether it's individual to individual or group to group. And this calls for one more thing. In her book, Stained Glass Spirit, Tracy Brown says if you are serious about developing a multicultural community that works for everyone, you will be required to look where you've never looked, go where you've never gone, or be who you've never been. Isn't that what we teach? She's a New Thought teacher, by the way. If you want to transform your life as an individual, we show you not only how to think differently, but also how to choose differently and then behave differently to create a life that is in alignment with your intentions. Being a leader in Stained Glass Spirit is no different. The community will grow toward that intention if beliefs drive behaviors, behaviors become habits, and habits generate a transformed outcome. So be aware that the world is already diverse. Believe in the oneness that we all share. And build your habits of inclusion. Practice the platinum rule, the collaboration, and the spirit of we. What a beautiful, powerful thing this is to do and be. Tracy Brown asked her group of students once, if you were to create an image of unity and love, what would that be? She says most of them think of some kind of circle. Whether it's a geometric circle or a circle of people holding hands. I like the image of that I had on a little sticker once when I was on the international ministries team. It was human figures of all colors holding hands around the rim of the world, embracing the world in their big hand-to-hand hug. Now, we can't do a hand-to-hand hug in here, but later when we stand up for our peace song, I invite you to stretch out your hand and send your energy to other hands, other hearts, and to create a circle that way. That is the circle we are growing. Through diversity, oneness, and inclusion, through the platinum rule, collaboration, and the inclusion of working together to build a better world. In this way, we truly know what it is to live the love. And Valerie, I was planning this before you got up and sung so beautifully about what's possible. And I just want to say, if you can sing that powerfully and beautifully through a mask, I believe all things are possible. Whew. Yeah, and now maybe you can sing this with me if you know it. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, love, our love, how our circle grows. stand up and reach out your hands and send out your love. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, love, our love, how our circle grows. And so it is. And you may be seated. And one way we have of sharing love, and I see some of our regular givers have moved on. And one way we have of sharing love when we are here is to hold our gift in our hands and in our hearts and fill it with that vibration of love. Just fill it with that vibration of love. Your special tithe, your special offering, your special gift. And if you can hold it to your heart, let your heart's energy fill the gift with all that you have to give. What I'm giving today is in addition to my tithe. What you give today is an expansion of who you are as living love. And so we say our offertory together.